Listen, come closer, listen to this, listen to this. Oh, so, oh. Good people of YouTube, I'm the Watch Idiot. So yeah, as you saw over there, I am a huge Pelagos fan from the very start of my journey, pretty much. I mean, this was my second ever big boy watch of sorts that I bought 5 years ago now. And yeah, I mean, it was the Pelagos that introduced me to the Tudor brand. And if I had to sell all my watches right now, this Pelagos would be the last one standing because I just love it that much. So in this video, I'm pretty much gonna go over what's been going on in my head and go over the 4 main reasons why the OG 42mm Pelagos is still the one to get all these years later and with a Pelagos 39 on the market. So yeah, I mean, because out of nowhere, I've been wearing mine for 16 days straight. It's probably gonna be more than that, which doesn't happen very often at all. And it goes to show that this Pelagos is standing strong as like my #1 watch, you know, while my Black Bay 58 Blue and my Black Bay 58 925 are for sale. So yeah, if you want either one of those, just send me an email, thewatchidiot@gmail.com with your shipping zip code so I can get a quote. And yeah, let's get into it right now. Yeah, so much of the Pelagos' charm is how intensely brutal the watch is. I mean, like, there is nothing there that compromises the legibility of the watch. I mean, everything is matte, so no chance of a polished bevel blinding you while you're diving somewhere or what have you. The sapphire crystal is flat, and in most angles, it pretty much looks like the crystal has just disappeared and you can just touch the dial, which is really, really cool. And then the hands and indices have super crisp white lume with really crispy white surrounds. I mean, every single time that I see it, I just like think to myself, like my God, this is like, it's so legible, even when it's compared to other really awesome and great dive watches that are really legible. This just stands out on another level. Oh, and then obviously the dark hue of titanium looks really cool, but we're gonna get into that in another part. But with all this tool watchiness and legibility, it still manages to, you know, look so good by having pretty much perfect proportions, like the size of the handset versus the dial and the indices. I mean, the size of the font on the bezel, the size of the bezel in relation to the case, and then the 22mm bracelet is just like perfect for the package. And that's kind of weird for me to say, just because I always prefer a 20mm lug width over 22, but in this case it works. I mean, and then there's obviously the Pelagos 39 with its stupid 21mm lugs. That really made me rethink the Pelagos 39 like hard. Yeah, just all of this perfection pretty much really makes it feel like it's just a precision instrument, because just everything is just done right. Also, this really isn't part of the aesthetic, but part of why it feels like such a precision instrument is because of its ridiculous accuracy. I mean, right now it's gained 10 seconds over the past 16 days that I've been wearing it. I mean, just oh, like I just said right there, like everything just makes me so happy when I look at it. And before, I have said that, you know, I do wish that there was a smaller version, and now that we do have a smaller 39mm version, the 42mm one still feels so perfect, which I wasn't expecting to think. But in the end, if you are diving, you know, having a bigger dial does make it more useful, and it's nice in its own way here on land. But also a lot of that comes down to my next point over here. And that point is that it's titanium, and titanium means that it's light, which goes a really, really long way to make this, you know, relatively, you know, sizable watch so much more wearable. I mean, it weighs in at 146 grams, which is about 20 grams less than all of my SKXs on their different bracelets, and it only weighs 6 grams more than my Black Bay 58 Blue, which is still crazy for me to think about. I mean, that's just like a 39mm thin dive watch, and this weighs only 6 grams more. So yeah, I mean, I absolutely love titanium and that sensation of lightness, but I do know that a lot of people don't like that sensation of lightness, and they like heft, which is totally makes sense. And the Pelagos strikes a pretty good balance here just because it is light, you know, obviously compared to other watches, but it does still have some steel components in it, like the entire clasp, the case back, the movement itself. So it does have a nice heft to it, you know, considering that it is titanium. So I guess it's a good starter titanium watch if you want to get into it. And then there's the look of titanium. I mean, I just love its dark hue and look so much just because it looks so different, you know, compared to all my other steel watches. And that adds to a whole nother experience, and even more so in this case because, like I said before, the dark look makes it feel a little bit more serious and tool watchy and whatnot. So yeah, it feels like it's just focused. In the end, if the Pelagos was the exact same watch but in steel, I probably wouldn't have even thought twice about buying it, because at that point it just would have been another big and heavy steel diver with 22mm lugs. I mean, titanium is an absolutely intrinsic part of the Pelagos experience. So next up are the bezel and the bracelet, and the bracelet is absolutely incredible. It's definitely a part of the Pelagos experience like titanium is. And yeah, even before I was a full-on bracelet guy, the Pelagos pretty much never came off of the bracelet. So the bracelet design is very nice. It's relatively simple, all things considered, but it has fully articulating links, unlike all the other Black Bay watches. So yeah, it feels even better. And to me, it's interesting that they went for this instead of, you know, just standard links. And, you know, this really does make me feel like Tudor had one goal with this Pelagos, and it's just to make the perfect and most comfortable, you know, tool diver. And they did everything that was needed for it. And just look at this, just look at that. I mean, it's just like, it's just so silky. Oh my God, it's just, and titanium adds to that silkiness too. Oh my God, it's just, have I told you guys that I love this watch? I don't know, I think I should say that. And yeah, that's a huge reason why it's so comfy. I mean, it just drapes over the wrist, and the edges are really well defined, but they don't cut into your wrist. And just the overall refinement of everything that just touches your wrist is just so high. I mean, all the stuff that I talked about before, you know, oh, it looks so good and everything like that, you know, all that would be for nothing pretty much. I mean, if it wasn't comfortable. I mean, I pretty much can't stop wearing this watch because of how comfortable it is, and I just don't want to, you know, wear something else. And then we have that incredible clasp, and that clasp is another big part of the Pelagos experience, because not only does it look really cool from the outside, you know, what with, you know, all those markings, but it's the best toolless micro adjust system that, you know, I've ever used, just because it does work the same way as the new T-Fit clasp, but you can see from the opening exactly where you are, so you can slot it into the right slot every single time. And then we have the springs in the final position, which was made so the watch can expand and contract with your wrist as you're diving down and going up. But in real life, it can be used for, you know, hot summer days, which does add to that comfort factor of the watch. And now on to the bezel, and the bezel itself is incredible. I mean, it's super grippy in every situation, and I love that the ceramic insert is matte, and the click feel is the best click feel, you know, short of a Submariner, which is just like, it's almost like not even real how good that is over there. But yeah, let's hear it again over here. Yeah, I mean, it's just got like the right amount of resistance. I mean, it's solid, and the action is super smooth. I mean, it's exactly what you would expect from a watch at this price point, or more than that for that matter. I love LUUUUME, as I'm sure many of us do, to say the least. And yeah, I mean, this has the best overall LUUUUME experience. And by that, I mean that it's not, you know, the absolute brightest, like, you know, the Seiko Tuna, which is pretty much like nuclear, but it's still extremely bright, and it lasts for a really, really long time while looking completely crisp and not splotchy at all. So it hits the mark in pretty much every aspect of LUUUUME possible. Tudor got it absolutely right over here. Oh, and it's blue. I mean, I absolutely love blue LUUUUME, so extra points. And in search of, you know, just ultimate legibility, I mean, they loomed the entire bezel, which to me seems like something that should be standard on all dive watches, or at least all tool divers, just because being able to read the elapsed time in low light is pretty critical, and it's just so unbelievably easy to do so here. And yeah, I mean, this watch is easily the most legible watch that I've owned pretty much ever, I think I could say that. But honestly, you know, other than the price, I'm really not sure why this isn't part of, you know, the ISO 6425 standards for a dive watch. I think this is most important. So there you have it. Let me know what you think down in the comments and email me if you want the Black Bay 58 Blue or the 925. And as always, hit the like button, subscribe button, the notification bell button, all the really good buttons, because it helps the channel a bunch, especially since we're this close to 10,000 subscribers, which is crazy to think about. But anyway, until the next video, good day.